like the stream on the way in here. Hop in this comment section. Y'all know what it is, man. Today is game day. Leave all your uneasy feelings, your doubts. Just push them to the side right now. Let's get focused. Let's get focused. It's another stream of the big blue crossover. Welcome. Let's go. Yeah. Get on there here. I see y'all. Get on there here. Let's go. Good morning, especially if you're on the east side. Good morning. Let's do this. It's time to lock in, man. No more feeling sorry for ourselves right now, man. We got a game today. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
It's your guy who is never lying, sometimes defiant, TP Way the Giant, man. And this is another big blue crossover with myself and, of course, the Juke. Juke, talk to him, man. How you feeling?
Listen, we waited a week to do this big blue crossover, so
yeah.
I got a little bit of that first game out of the system, a little bit. Obviously, we know how we feel about it, but
yeah,
we play another game today. It's another chance to get another W under our belt, man. That's how I'm feeling.
Okay, so it leaves us to this little awkward feeling going into this game today, right? Because it's not just about being excited today, like that it is a game day. It is more like this feeling of, all right, oh shit, like what did we get ourselves into? Because this game is huge. And because of the schedule that we have, because of how we looked versus Washington, it is like this game feels more like it is mandatory for us to win. I mean, what is your thoughts going into this thing?
It's crazy how loud it got after that one game, man. And it was that bad. Don't get me wrong. It was that bad. And maybe we'll talk about it, but it was that bad. The offense didn't put up a touchdown. I went in on my channel. I let everyone know, man, this is 3 straight years of no touchdowns on opening day. Terrible. We put up 12 points in 3 games opening day for the last 3 years, which is insane. I say all that to say, man, we can't go 0-2. We can't go. If we go 0-2, they're going to be calling for a Jackson Dart like crazy, and I'm not even against it. Because if we don't score a touchdown today, we will get in the end zone today. But if we don't get in the end zone today, it could get wicked, man. It could get wicked. So I'm right there with you. It's crazy to say week 2 is a must-win game, but 2 division rivals, if you fall 0-2 to start off the season, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't even want to even think about us not scoring. Like, that was one of the hard, realities of last week's loss was the fact that we're supposed to have the offensive guru and the head coach. And, I was the one who was out there saying I was hyped to have Mike Kafka calling plays again. And, I thought that we definitely upgraded offensively. So for us to not even get on the scoreboard was real disheartening. So, like, going into this is just like I can't even think about it, man. But Born for Sports is in the chat, man. Shout out to my guy, Born for Sports. Says, good morning, fellas. Let's get this dub. I'm trying to have the new week, new me vibes. Let's go Big Blue. Of course, man. I feel you on that one. Jabari Bruce is in the building. He says, Giants is in a must-win situation. How well do we do in those games? And then he follows up and says, yo, real talk, do I pick up the Cowboys defense in fantasy football and drop Cooper Kupp? We might not score and give up a few TDs to the defense. Okay, so I want to give you realistic fantasy advice first. Like, I don't want to just talk from just like hope and, lead you down astray, because I call myself a fantasy guru. And Juke, I know you in fantasy too, so I want to get your opinion, man, on this as well. I personally think that you don't want to pick up the Cowboys defense And I don't think that we should hone in too much to last week's game and just charge it to week one, just rust, week one, whatever you want to call it. I think that there is nowhere to go but up when it comes to this offense. And historically, I said this in one of my videos this week. Like, the Giants, unfortunately, like, there'll be a one game where we just look terrible like we did week one. And then there'll be the next week where we look, all things are clicking and we look like a completely different team. So I'm hoping that's the case for today, and I kind of believe that, there's only one way to go, and that's up. But Juke, what you got for my man Bruce? Right?
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because Jabari asked me for fantasy advice last year too.
Oh,
And
okay, okay.
I don't know if he followed up with whatever I told him anyways, but no, don't pick up the Cowboys defense, man. Let
Okay.
your fandom hold strong in that point. But dropping Cooper Cup, I got Cooper Cup on my fantasy team too, and he laid an egg last week. So I mean, you could drop
Yeah.
him for anybody. I just picked up Kendrick Bourne because give me another guy. So that's my little insight on fantasy. But yeah, don't pick up the Cowboys defense, man. We'll talk about it too. I think the defense has some, vulnerable pieces to it that essentially aren't playing this game, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Don't pick up that defense.
Money Mike is in the building, man. Money Mike says, I hope we win, but honestly, I think the Cowboys is a tougher match than the Commanders. Interesting. I see it a little differently. I I may understand why you view it as that, right? But I think I see it a little differently.
Yeah, I agree.
G242 in the chat, man. Shout out to you. He says, I know we losing today. Hopefully we score 14 or more.
Week two.
Yo,
Man.
it's like I can't knock any fan or anybody who feels that way. I can't knock you because of how week one, went. It was just so disheartening. But and it could be just I could be in the wrong in this. It just could be just game day vibes. But I just can't accept the fact that we just gonna go out there and just look exactly how everyone pictures us to look. I won't accept that. I'm going in with the mindset like, nah, we gonna win. Big Dash is in the building. Says, fellas, good morning. How we feeling?
Dash
Yo,
up early.
yeah,
He up
yeah.
early
Shout out
on
to
his
my guy
side.
Dash, man. Yo, Dash, I ain't gonna hold you. I feel as good as I could possibly feel about this. Like, I don't even see a world where I could feel any better than how I feel right now, man. It's game though, man. I'm trying to get my vibes back up. I've been a little, honing in on last week's, performance, but I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to focus on today, and I'm trying to bring, New York Giant energy, fee 5 full fun energy. All right, I'm gonna finish these last two, and then we're gonna get into it. Born for Sports says keep cut, but don't start him this week. Wait and see on him fitting chemistry with Donald. Okay, and the real multi says Giants family salute. Let's get this W today. I'm still at 36% for my trust with the coaching staff, but I'm rooting for our boys to get the W, man. So this is actually our first time really chopping it up since last week's, madness. Me personally, I'll keep it short and sweet here. My main um my main like finger that I'm going to point is to the coaching staff. Like they disappointed me the most out of any and everybody. And I feel like that is still going to be the key to this game ultimately. Of course, players, we got to go out there and execute, and we got to be able to go out there and handle our biz. But the way I seen it last week was the coaching staff didn't give us a good enough chance to win the game. Going into Dallas, I need to make sure that our coaching staff outcoaches Dallas. That's my main priority.
Yep.
How about you, man? What is like the main thing that you are focused on? Do you think that the coaching per se was one of the main things that you know was to that loss? Like, where's your mindset with this whole thing?
Yeah, I do. I think we're kind of tired of having an offense that can't score because we've seen it so often these last couple of years, and to see it in Week 1 against the Commanders defense that I just saw the Packers run all over. Honestly, like, are we going to be the Packers offense? No, but to not score a touchdown against that defense is terrible. But I do think coaching is a big piece in that. When you talk about the play calling at the goal line, I know Tyrone Tracy made some quotes about not running the ball at the 1 yard line and trying to go for getting tackle Marcus Bowe his first receiving touchdown in his first game. It's crazy. That's what the play call was. So I do think that our offense is not going to be bad as we saw Week 1. They have to bounce back, right? And to Jabari's point, right, in a must-win situation when our back is against the wall, how often do the Giants really respond?
Right.
But we literally just can't have the same type of game like last week. We can't. And I do think when it comes to personnel, I mean, the Cowboys defense is in the same, conjunction as the Commanders defense. I don't think they have, a lot of high top end talent on that side of the ball. They
Yeah.
have solid players, but I don't think they have, high top talent. They traded away their best player on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see what Kenny Clark can do, but it's all going to come down to the same thing that we were repeating for years, man. Offensive line. Can the offensive
Yes,
line
sir.
buy the quarterback some time? Can Russell Wilson be able to stand in the pocket and make some throws?
Yeah.
There's some, all 22 tape out there that I'm seeing that he's bailing from the pocket super early. We know he likes to take some sacks too. So you got to stand in the pocket, got to make some throws. And against the secondary, I don't think the Cowboys have a great secondary, man. I don't, especially with one of their Deron Bland being out of the game. So
Right.
yeah, why not this week? Why not this week? I
Come
don't
on,
care how
man.
many times Dak Prescott beat us in a row. Don't care how long it's been. Why not make it happen this week?
So I'm reading the chat, and the chat is all consistently like, look, man, they giving up. They giving up. The expectation is to the floor, and usually y'all know me, man. Usually, I don't condone that type of behavior, but I understand completely why this fan base feels the way they feel. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and act like I don't feel the way I feel, man. Like it was very disheartening to see that Week 1, not just the loss, because a loss we could get over. Like I ain't really tripping about that. To see that we just looked like the same team as last year, the same exact team as last year, was just disheartening. So I understand why this fan base feels the way that they feel. But the other side of it is, man, listen, Dallas is 0-1 just like we are 0-1. And I was telling Juke, like behind stage, man, I was listening to Dallas Cowboy live stream just last night, and they're pretty much saying the same thing that we are saying. They view this game as a must-win situation. Um, they don't necessarily look at us in the same light as far as our chances in beating them are like to the floor, but they do all say this can be a sneaky game right here. Like they are not looking at us like how we look at us right now. But with that being said, if we're talking about winning today, let's just focus on that.
That's what we're talking about, man.
What are the key things, man, that we really need to do to pull out this win, man? I'll start here. I think that, I mean, offensive line is a given. We already know that. We know how that goes. That's no secret there. But also, I want to just go to this defensive side of the ball, man.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, I am so focused on just like making our D line look like what I expected for this D line to look like. And I want them to go hunt. So, really, one of my key things, man, is make Dak look different than what he did week 1. He had a lot of time versus the Eagles at times of the game. Like, I want to go out there, man, and I want this defense to really, put foots on necks, man. What about you? What is something that you think is a key to get a victory today?
I think that's literally what you had your bet on is his defensive line. And let me throw a couple things that I saw from last week that really upset me, and it kind of relates to coaching as well. I'm seeing last week that apparently Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, and Brian Burns only played 8 snaps together last week. That's ridiculous. That's not a
Yeah,
winning formula at all. Your best players, which I think if you break down the top 5, top 10 players, majority of them come from that D line. And
right,
you
right,
only let
right.
them play 8 snaps together. That's ludicrous. That has
Yeah,
to change this week. Dexter Lawrence was a non-factor last week. Don't know what it is. Didn't see him making plays. I saw Brian Burns make a couple plays. I saw Kayvon get a sack. Even Abdul Carter over here, blocking punts. But Dexter Lawrence did not make any impact plays last week. We know he's going to get double teamed, but we know he takes advantage of those and still sometimes beats him. We need that this week. We need it dramatically.
yeah.
Dak Prescott, balled last week against the Eagles, but I also do think their D line, they lost a couple guys, and Jalen Carter got suspended or taken out of the game one
That's
play
right.
into it. Never even played a snap last week. So I think when you think about this D line matching up with their offensive line, yeah, they were able to keep Dak Prescott upright last week, but this is a different D line. And if the D line plays to our standard, even considering last week, I just need a little bit more from Dexter Lawrence. And it's crazy to ask that because Dexter Lawrence should be the best player on the team. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what
yeah,
it should be. But
yeah.
he didn't make no plays last week. We got to get back after it this week. Take advantage of that offensive line against the D line. We know they got some guys out there, but once again, this is supposed to be a top 3 defensive line in the league. We need it to be that. And it's crazy to say that after not scoring a touchdown, right? Like the offense still got to do what they got to
Oh
do.
yeah, for sure.
But put this team in a position to go create some turnovers, back them up. I mean, they did that against the Commanders and they completed like a lot of 2nd and 19, 2nd and 17s. We can't let that happen this week. We just can't. So that's my thing on it.
I have a low key like theory on Dexter Lawrence, and I kind of spoken to this off season, man. One thing that I notice about Dex is like this man gained weight, and I know when you're dealing with injuries and stuff like that, it's a lot easier for you to, really, especially as a defensive lineman and a big guy like Dex, it's a lot easier for you to tap into that, right? And then on top of that, you add in the fact that he's dealing with you know, his wife being pregnant. Listen, I have 5 kids, okay? So this is my expertise. I know all about this. All right. At one point in my life, I was almost close to 300 pounds. And really, that was because of the whole aspect of like, look, being next to, a pregnant woman all the time. Whenever she eats, you just tend to eat more, right? My little theory is that Dex may have just lost a step as far as wind is concerned, and I think that his weight gain kind of is affecting him. Now, that's just a little. I don't want to jump off. I'll jump out the window with that because I can't really stamp it. He
Yeah.
may go out there today and then and look like Dex again, right? But that's just something in the back of my head that I'm not gonna lie that I kind of think about.
Yeah, small sample size. Small sample
Yeah,
size. So we'll
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, I'll chalk it up to like Dexter Lawrence never had a great game against the Eagles. Like they knew how to handle him. We just hope the Commanders didn't find that success last week. I don't know exactly what the problem is, but once again, get these guys all on the field together and let's have them play. Like we need our top players playing. Abdul Carter, I think, played like 30 snaps last week.
right.
What is 30 snaps for your top premier, draft pick, number
Yeah,
3?
right. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You keep them all out there, it makes everyone's job a lot easier. Makes everyone's job a lot easier. So that's at least what I want to see on the defensive side. And if we're gonna do anything, we got to stop Dak Prescott. We do. We really do. He looked good. He looked good in that Eagles game. But once again, I don't think the D line he faced against the Eagles is not the D line he's facing this week.
Well, let me ask you this too. Speaking of just defensively on things that we got to focus on, we can't ignore the fact that man they have C.D. Lamb and George Pickens over there,
Yeah.
right? So again, we're just really comparing last week to this week, and we know that Paulson and Debo for the most part, he had himself a good game. Terry McLaurin didn't have himself the biggest game, but if you do want to factor in the fact that Terry McLaurin almost had him one, Like he caught him with a
Yeah.
double move, and then it makes you think about, damn, like okay, you kind of bit on that slant and go pretty heavy. What are you gonna do when you lined up against CD Lamb? Because he is a route artist. Then you think about also Cordell Flott. He had himself a long day last week. Well, his job gets even more difficult because you have a George Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, how do you feel about these matchups, man? As far as this secondary going against these two dogs, man, at receiver. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna call it like it is. Two dogs at receiver, and then you also have a good quarterback in Dak Prescott throwing them the ball.
I would be lying to say if I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah,
I would be lying.
yeah,
But the thing is, I think what you got to kind of coincide is that CD is going to have him a game. I'm not going to tell Paulson Adebo, and because also too, I don't think he's going to exclusively guard him because you're going to see CD Lamb jump into the slot. You're going to see Drew
right,
Phillips on him. You're going to see a couple different ways they use CD. CD is that type of receiver. He's going to have himself a game.
yeah,
You can't let the other guys beat you. I said that for the Commanders last week. We didn't let Terry McLaurin go all over us, and I know he missed that one play, but Debo had himself a game. Zach Ertz in a wheelchair is still having games against us. He's been doing that for years. We need to try to limit the other guys from doing that. I'm looking at George Pickens. He had 3 catches last week, and it was like 3 catches for 30 yards. We need to
right,
try to
right.
give that type of effort. And I think the Eagles secondary is also super suspect when you compare it to ours too. So I'm hoping from big games from Tyler Nubin and Javon Holland. Now, are they going to be guarding up man to man on these receivers? No, but you got to help your DBs out.
Yeah,
Javon Holland last week, every time the ball was coming through, he was trying to punch out the ball, and he missed a lot. Hopefully, he capitalizes and makes some plays on the ball this week, because I think I expected more out of him in that week 1 game. And once again, we can't get beat by these tight ends, by these third receivers. I mean, Turpin is a guy that worries me a little bit too. Like Turpin's a speedy guy with the ball in his hands, and our DBs have to come up and tackle. Turpin, we'll take an end around, we'll take a jet sweep, and put these guys in a position that they have to tackle. So that's what I'm more worried about. CD, I mean, if you got him in fantasy, start him. Like that's the guy you're always going to start
yeah.
every week, right? He's going to get a lot of targets, a lot of receptions. But don't let those other guys beat you and torch you, man. Javon Holland, Tyler Nubin, step up, try to help out this DB room as much as you can.
Now I do hear people say that, right? But I'm gonna give you some pushback, man. I think Javon Holland didn't have himself a bad game, man. I like what I seen from Javon Holland. Like, I think if you put it in a perspective, man, like people look at Zach Ertz and they think, all right, this dude is old and like whatever. Yo, Zach Ertz is him, man. Like Zach Ertz, if you look at what he even did versus Green Bay, he was killing Green Bay. Like Zach Ertz, you can't mistake his age for like what I don't get it either. Like I'm not gonna lie, my man TJ, who I do the NFC East panel with, I used to tell him like, yo, Zach Ertz is too old, he's washed and all these other I paid attention to Zach Ertz
Yeah.
and he's still one of those guys, man. And
Because
so
I'm more coming from a place that the Giants always get killed by tight ends in general. I'm gonna make the joke about Zach Ertz because Zach Ertz is that old and he's still
yeah,
doing it.
so
But every year the Giants get killed by tight ends. Think about the 3 different tight ends that we got
yeah, yeah,
against the Cowboys. Schultz used to kill us when he was on their team.
yeah.
Jason Witten used to kill us when he was on their team. And now I don't even know who their tight end is, but I guarantee I'm gonna know his name after today because every year the Giants cannot stop the tight end position. And then on the flip side, our offense can't utilize their tight ends, but we get
Yeah.
killed by them every week. So that's mainly the standpoint I'm coming from. Zach Ertz, I'm gonna throw jabs at as much as he can because he's coming from the Eagles and going to the Cardinals and now the Commanders. But to your point about Javon Holland, for me, it was just more like if we're looking at it for a Debo getting beat on that double move, there was a couple plays across the middle that it was just a bad ball, but the guy's running open, or it's a high throw and the guy's running open. That's where I'm more at with Javon Holland. He's not making a play on the ball yet. Still can. Small sample size, right? First game, but I want to see more out of him limiting that type of play where, I mean, Jaden Daniels kind of had whatever he wanted. He was just inaccurate. He really was inaccurate in the middle of the field. So that's just what I more want to see. We got no turnovers. We didn't turn the ball over either, but I mean, we need something's gonna break this game one way or
Yeah.
another for our defense or their offense or our offense. Something's gonna break. So that's just what I'm hoping to see.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. Don't expect for Dak to be so inaccurate. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie to you.
exactly,
I'm not
exactly.
gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm gonna give y'all the real. Dak is not going to be the most inaccurate quarterback that we see, man. But
Unless it's the playoffs,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah. Then we talking a different ball game. But this the running game that Dallas has, man. That's one of the things when I seen them versus the Eagles that I'm not gonna hold you. Kind of impressed me. Us. We have to stop the run, and we know this. We've been preaching this week in, week out. We have to stop the run. Now, Michael McFadden, um, won't be playing. I believe, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
he's out.
Yeah. So that to me, that was a big loss for us. We talk about Bland being out for them. Michael McFadden being out for us is something that I think is a huge loss. I think Bobby Okereke plays better with Michael McFadden next to him. And then I also think that, if these offenses are smart enough, man, they're going to attack the weak points to our defense. Like, that's why I expect for George Pickens' targets to go up a little bit. I think that they're going to attack Flott to see if he's up to the challenge. I think that this offense is going to attack Darius Marsall, or maybe they may scheme for Abdul Carter to stand up and take that. Well, whoever, but I think they're going to attack whatever weak spot that they view as a weak spot to see if they're up for that challenge. So, as far as stopping the run, man, like I know none of our confidence level is high, but how do you feel about that?
The one thing that I feel like Michael McFadden's injury brings, and I'm not saying I really want this to happen, but we've been hearing about it during the week, so there's a chance we're going to see it today. Is that they talked about putting Abdul Carter at the other inside linebacker position. He formerly played it at Penn State his first year until he turned into a edge rusher. So if that's a way to get Abdul Carter more on the field, because once again, like I repeat, 8 snaps for our 4 main guys last week is insane. We
Right.
have to try to get that right. And that might be a way we get it right. And hopefully Abdul Carter can stand up to the task. Once again, I don't think this running defense is going to be flipped like a switch and we're going to be able to, stop the run completely. But we definitely can't let no like big long runs be broken off by this team. Javonte Williams looked good for them against the Eagles,
Yeah.
but he didn't really break off a huge run. Miles Sanders broke off a run and got caught down. Miles Sanders
It's
stinks, man.
trash.
That's Miles Sanders
Trash.
stinks. I just remember
He's
him,
trash.
obviously he was the backup to Saquon and coming out, he was 26. Miles Sanders stinks. But I say all that to say, man, we can't let them break off long runs against us. Now, obviously, we have to limit them. 5 yards a pop is still just as bad. I mean, because you can make your way all the way down the field. But hopefully, if Abdul Carter is the play at inside linebacker, have him wreak havoc, have him shoot some gaps, kind of try to guess where the run is going. And I think that's the true way we'll be able to, make a difference and get some tackles for losses. When you look at Kayvon and Brian Burns, a lot of the time when they stop the run, it's not because they're setting the edge well. They're
Right.
shooting a gap, making a blocker miss, and kind of, get into the backfield. So we're going to need a lot more aggressive play out of that. Maybe Abdul, inside linebacker, can do that. Now, it's not for sure that he's going to. If we're going to resort to Darius Massaw, yeah, I'm a little worried. I am. And
Yeah.
it's not nothing against him. Nothing against him. He's just not Micah McFadden. He's not that type of linebacker. So, yeah, I'm a little worried for it, but maybe if Abdul gets plugged in, it makes a little bit of difference.
Yeah, even if Abdul gets plugged in there, man, I still need to see him rush the quarterback,
Yeah.
man. I still he's just way too great of a talent
Mm-hmm.
at getting to the quarterback, man. That we got to utilize that, man. But let's go over to the offensive side of the ball, man. You kind of hinted at this, man, and I think this is a huge point for our offense, and that's our tight ends, man. Utilizing our tight ends, not just marching up the field, but especially in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to keep talking about the red zone disaster that we had last game because it's going to piss me off some more. But in the preseason and the offseason, we seen us doing nothing but targeting our 6'5" big body tight ends,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get to week one and we just completely just do away with that. Um, this tight end room, like what's your mindset? Going in with this tight end room. I know me, I do like Theo Johnson's game, man. But when it comes to just reliability, Daniel Bellinger is just knocking on that door, man. But how do you feel about this tight end room?
Listen, I see people in the chat talking about it already. Theo Johnson does need to step it up. He does,
Yeah,
man.
that's a fact.
Him dropping the ball, and granted, he didn't get targeted like crazy, but he had 2 drops in the small targets that he had. Unacceptable. Like,
Yeah.
catch the ball. You got to catch the ball. And that's one thing. I went to one training camp practice that I did, and the guy dropped the ball a lot. He had a drop problem in college, and he has a drop problem here. He has to
Mm.
fix that because he's too, I guess, premier of a talent when you think about his speed, his size. He has all the makeup for a good tight end. He just, we're not targeting him as much, and he's dropping the ball. So if we target him, he needs to be catching the ball. We need to
Well,
take advantage of
real
that
quick.
mismatch.
So you said this was at camp this year that you've seen him dropping the ball often?
At camp this year. Like, and
Wow.
I'm talking
Okay.
about not even against a team scrimmage. He's doing a simple, run, like ball snapped, run, catch the ball from his trainers, and he's dropping the ball consistently in that. Not even joking with you.
Mm.
Fans were over here, making noise when he was dropping the ball because it's practice. You're not even contested.
Wow. Okay, that's something definitely I'm a keep noted, man,
And I
because
see it translate, unfortunately. Like, you see it in the game, dropping the ball twice from Russell Wilson. One of them was an easy check down.
yeah,
Like, was he
yeah.
going to get the first down? No. At least catch the ball in that scenario. And Daniel Bellinger got targeted once, and what did he do? Catch the ball. Shout out to Authentic. Authentic made the point. Daniel Bellinger has 2 drops in his career since joining
Wow.
our team. 2 drops in his career. So when you target him, he's coming down with the ball one way or another. So
That's
all
that's
that to say, man, I do expect a big difference from this tight end room. Will Daniel Bellinger get more involved? I've seen people think that Bellinger was going to be cut in this offseason. I didn't have him making the team because I didn't see a lot of featurement from him in the training camp process too. But he's on this team. Utilize him. He catches the ball a lot more than Theo Johnson does. He might not be as explosive, might not be as tall, but once again, target the guys that make plays for you and catches the ball. That's something that Daniel Bellinger did. I still expect a lot from Theo though. Hopefully Theo gets his stuff on the road because we need him to be huge, man. We
yeah,
really
that's a
do.
fact. That's a fact, man. Yeah, I'm definitely going. Keep note of that, man. Theo Johnson is definitely on the watch list. I will say we've seen a lot of double tight end sets, and you've seen a lot of play, man, from Manhurts as well. We know that what he adds to just the blocking game, which we desperately just needed. And then like you said, man, Daniel Bellinger, man, to me, he's just like the most complete and most reliable tight end. And I really want to see Daniel Bellinger, man, take that leading role. And it's not to really, really dog Theo Johnson, because I think Theo Johnson does things well. But when it just comes to reliability, I mean, where can you really go wrong with Daniel Bellinger? Also, Thomas Fedoni, man, like Fedoni, okay, he was a late round draft pick, but they sold me in the offseason.
Hmm.
They sold me. Like, seeing him, throughout camp and in the preseason, I'm like, yo, this guy moves pretty well, man. And just he has that tall, big body target that you can just really absolutely utilize in the red zone. So it's just like all of these tight ends that we have. I just I just don't see why we can't utilize these guys. We've seen Washington versus Green Bay, and Green Bay absolutely killing Washington
Yeah.
by just using my man Kraft, the tight end of Green Bay. And so it just really, sparks my interest as to as our coaches, seeing the same thing. Are we going to get better tight end usage? Because I like you said, I think that is going to be a big point. Now we got to talk about my guys, man. Are these receivers?
Yeah.
These receivers. Look, where's your mind at, man? As far as where these receivers stand, what do you want to see more of? Who do you think Is there somebody that you are kind of looking forward to moving on from, or you just like what is your whole mindset when it comes to this receiver room?
I'm looking at two people, and when you think about, the number one receiver is Malik Neighbors. We need him to do more. We need him to do more. Russ and Neighbors had a connection during the whole offseason. And I hate to keep bringing up the offseason because that's how strong it was. They had a connection all offseason through preseason game, not preseason games, but through that portion where preseason was being played in the
Right,
offseason and the practices. Malik Neighbors and Russ were going deep, but they couldn't connect on that at all. And if you can't get the intermediate game right, which we couldn't,
right,
you're not gonna be able to hit the deep plays. We had deep throws 24/7. We had a moon ball thrown by Russell Wilson to Bo Collins in a preseason game. We need to take advantage of that, and Malik Neighbors needs to be a lot more effective. 12 targets and 5 catches is not good. It's not good enough. But I'm also looking at Darius Slayton. Now,
right,
it's not Darius Slayton's fault, right? I'm not one target. You get targeted once. How are you going to get the ball? He only got targeted one time last week. We need him to be more of a factor. We just do. I'm
right.
not scared about any of their DBs. I'm not. Trayvon Diggs, Marshawn Lattimore. I kept saying, I'm not worried about Marshawn Lattimore, but Marshawn Lattimore is still a better DB in this league. The Cowboys really don't have a good DB on that team. I'm sure they're going to put Diggs and shade of safety over from Malik Neighbors because everyone's going to double team Malik. So Darius Slayton needs to make a play. He has to. We got to target him at least a little bit, whether it's a couple deep shots here and there. Darius Slayton has to be a factor on the scene because I think Wandale, if he is the number two target, like the number two option on this team, I don't think that sets us up for success, man. I just
Right,
don't.
right.
Well, like Wandale, don't get me wrong, like in his little role, he plays it well. It's just that's not like the ingredient for us to have like an explosive offense.
I
Think
agree.
about when Wandale gets the ball. He had one little, wheel route that he caught for a first down, but 9 times out of 10, it's a 3 yard out route. It's a 3 yard stop route and make a play. And then he doesn't really have a lot of yak to his game. I know I'm definitely hating on Wandale right now, but
I disagree with that one,
that's
but
what we seen. What we seen, and I know people ran that play last year, right, where he had almost 100 catches, but his yards per catch were super low. I just think Darius Slayton needs to be the number two target on this team. He
no,
has to be. If this offense wants to get the yardage that they want, if they want to get down the field, Darius Slayton has to make plays. One target and no catches is not good enough. So hopefully Darius Slayton's in store for a big game because whoever that CB2 is, which I don't even know who their CB2 is, they need to make plays, man.
I agree with most of what you said. I think Darius Slayton definitely has to be the number two, and I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. Um, I don't think a lot of the what we've seen from our receivers, the underwhelming, performance that we've seen in week one, didn't necessarily all have to do with our receivers. Just offense in general was just broken down. Again, the play, the schemes out there, the play calling was also attributed to that. So I mean, again, hopefully, hopefully we have a coaching staff that could really just wake up. But I'm gonna get some pushback on Wandell, man. Yes, Wandell, he hasn't shown that he could be a down the field threat. But I do like when the ball is in his hands, man, and I do think he does very well as far as getting yak. Um, we look at week one, man. He was really like maybe the bright spot in this wide receiver room. When he is doing that, when he is playing that game, I absolutely love when he's being responsible, catching the ball, you know, holding on to the ball, not fumbling or anything crazy like that. I love it, and I can't complain. He was getting thrown around like a rag doll. I'm not gonna hold you. They was they was like DDTing him and everything. Like it was crazy out there. But I appreciated the fact that he didn't cough up the ball. Again, he didn't cough up the ball. He made dudes miss, and he made plays for us. With that being said, that doesn't mean that he can't be somebody that we target like the number two receiver on this team. That's where I agree. But that's where the whole just again, man, offensive play calling and play designs and all of that goes into factor, and we just man, we just
Let
got
me let
beat.
me ask you. There was one play last week that once again it would have been a tough play, but if there was one deep ball that was good by Russell Wilson last week, it was that one to Wandale on the right sideline.
Yeah,
Wandale has to come down with that catch. And I'm
yeah,
not trying to go again because granted, a lot of other people dropped the ball. Even neighbors on one of the deep routes on the right sideline, I believe he should have came down with that ball too. But Wandale's was probably the best deep ball that Russ thrown, and he didn't come down with that. And that's just where I stand, where I'm like, if we run an offense where he's featured as much as he is right now, right?
right,
I
right.
just don't know if that's our most explosive version of this offense. And I'm a counter off of Wandale, right? Because that's just specifically Wandale. I don't want to talk about Jackson Dart a lot, but we all talked about it that in the preseason, Jackson Dart's offense felt different than Russell Wilson's offense.
Mm,
When he was in the game, they ran a lot of RPOs. They did a lot of different things that when Russ is on the offense, they're not running certain plays. Think about all the screen plays that we ran last in the preseason. How many screenplays did we run in the game where the running back is getting a chance to catch a screen pass and take it for some yards? We didn't get anything going, so maybe I'm gonna chalk it up to that. But something to watch for, man, is what this offense looks like this game, because I do think from what we've seen during preseason, and once again, we know Jackson Dart's offense was different than Russell Wilson's. They just moved differently. We got to see what their approach is. We talked about play calling. We'll chalk it up as a bad game, and it's reminded me of my rant after the game. You had all year, all
yeah,
off season to prepare for that game, and that's what we got. So that's what worries
yeah,
me. But let's see how they pivot. Let's chalk it up as a bad game. Let's see what the play calling is this week. Because if it's not great this week too, and you see another performance like 160 yards from Russell Wilson, 37 pass attempts, yeah, we might be up for one. So we'll see what the play calling is for sure. But that's what I'm looking out for, man. What is this offensive identity? What is it? We were throwing the ball down the field. I'm going off now, but we were throwing the
yeah,
ball
yeah,
down the field all off season, man, all off
yeah.
season, and we couldn't get anything going this game. Crazy.
All right. So as far as quarterbacks is concerned, I will say, with our offensive line playing the way that it is playing, I understand why people may feel like Jackson Dart, will just add more to this offense than Russ. With the offensive line playing the way they playing. Now, if the offensive line is, holding up for the most part, or at least playing decent, I think it changes things, and I still would like to see Russ, in charge. But the reality of the situation is that is not the case, and the case is the offensive line is terrible. So with that being said, I mean, what does Jackson Dart do that Russell Wilson doesn't? Well, for one, Jackson Dart has the height advantage. So when that defensive line is causing pressure, it is easier for Jackson Dart to, see the field better than it is for Russ. As far as making plays with his legs, I will take Jackson Dart over Russ in that regard. Um, and I will give the tough aspect to things to Jackson Dart as well. Um, but again, it is one of those things that you just, if you make that move, there is no going back.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those situations to where if we keep going down this trajectory, man, it is going to be only a matter of time to where that it has to happen.
And
But as where you stand, I just really want to know, because I don't think I really know your answer as of right now. I want to hit that update button to see where you stand now. Who do you want to see, in QB charges right now? Who do you want to see right now?
I hate to you heard me on my other live streams, man. I hate to say it because exactly what you're saying right now is where I don't want to bring up Jackson Dart to make him the starter. Like I really don't. But for me, it almost screams that they want him to be the starter, right? Like
Yeah,
that's where I'm getting at.
yeah,
They ran a whole different offense for that rookie quarterback. Where normally when you have a system, when you plug a quarterback in, you tweak things a little bit, right? To emphasize on what they do. And I see people in the chat saying that Russ can't do RPO. Just breaking down what an RPO is, it's simply a run pass option, right? You're either going to hand it off to the running back or you're going to pull it and throw a slant. If Russ can't do something like that, we're playing with a handicapped quarterback. I think he can, but they don't run it with him. And maybe to your point, right? He's not as tall as Jackson Dart. Can he see over the offensive line? Russell Wilson's been successful and won a Super Bowl. I don't think the height is attributed to it. Maybe he doesn't want to pull the trigger on it. But I say all that to say, man, if they're going to run a whole different offense with one quarterback and run a whole different offense with Russ, if they can't get a successful offense with Russ, we're going to have to make that pivot soon. I told everyone I wanted week 14, Jackson Dart, because if we do it any sooner, that means this team is starting 0 for 1, 0 and 2, 0 and 3. Team's falling apart. Throw the rookie quarterback out there and potentially save us. So I'm still on Russ's team, man. I still want Russ to be that guy. I still do. But it does excite me to think that maybe this offense flips a switch with Jackson Dart. They just ran a whole different offense. It was preseason, though. It is backups in the preseason. It is backups in the preseason.
He played
I'll
starters.
continue to say that.
Russ played starters. But I want to say this too, man, because a lot of people, really discrediting what Russell Wilson, did do, I guess, in the game, or just Russell Wilson as a quarterback in general. Listen, a lot of what we've seen in week 1 was not necessarily a Russell Wilson problem. And I see that being a theme of things when it comes to this Giant fan base. It's like, when things go bad, all eyes automatically go to the quarterback. Now, granted, there were some plays that were left out there, and I'm not saying that Russell Wilson played a perfect game. He did not.
Yeah.
But in the same breath and time, y'all, if we don't have these other factors in play, it don't matter who you have at quarterback. I don't know how people don't understand that by now, but it's not going to be a productive offense. So ultimately, I just want for this coaching staff and this offensive line, man, to give this guy at least a fair shot. Give Russ a fair shot, and then we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
But let's dive into this running game, man, before we call it a day.
Can I ask one thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just 1 minute. I need 1 minute from you.
Go ahead.
What's your thoughts on Daniel Jones week 1? 1 minute.
Oh,
Let me get 1 minute.
Oh, that kind of excites me. Listen, I'll try to keep it short and sweet. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, Daniel Jones, I told y'all he's the greatest thing ever, because I never even really said that. I never viewed Daniel Jones as this guy, right? But I still stand on this point, man. I don't think that Daniel Jones was as bad as the narrative has grown for people to think he was. And I always thought, and I still think, that our record wasn't a reflection of just Daniel Jones. I think everybody put in their head, okay, we suck, and we only won 3 games because Daniel Jones. If we get Daniel Jones up out of here, we will be okay. And it was mind-blowing to me, because I'm just like, oh, how can y'all not see that this coaching staff is not helping them either? This offensive line at times isn't helping them either. There are things surrounding Daniel Jones that is also why we suck. And so this was the perfect thing. I do think that this was the best thing for us, was for us to move on from Daniel Jones. But I hope people are not so bullheaded that they could finally see, Daniel Jones is actually, when you look at him in the record breaking column of things, this guy is out here balling. He's breaking records. Okay, his resume is not too shabby. And for some reason, also, I want to say this too, Giant fans, y'all don't come off as no haters, man. Let's not do that. Let's not hate on the man. A lot of now, all of a sudden, oh, he played Miami, bruh. He scored any and every time that he took a possession. How can you hate on that? Can we do that? Can we show? First of all, can we worry about us getting on the scoreboard before you even decide to hate on Daniel Jones? Like, I don't want to hear any of this hating stuff. Now, he's going to be tested, and of course, I'm going to low key be paying attention to that, whatever, boom. But all in all, I do want to say, y'all could call Daniel Jones bad. Y'all could do all of this other stuff. Y'all, whatever. I'm not even going to argue that. What I am saying is, I hope that Daniel Jones has proven that it was just more than Daniel Jones. Like, again, I think Daniel Jones did play bad football, right?
Mhm.
I'm not arguing that. But look at this coaching staff now, because you can't blame Daniel Jones no more. You
Yeah.
can't blame him. Look at this coaching staff.
Sorry, y'all. I tried to keep TP in the pocket for a minute, and we still went a little bit
I could,
over, but
hey, look, I could do a whole stream on this on this whole
I
thing.
understand. And I will say, shout out to Ruben. He still got the Daniel Jones profile picture. Hilarious. But if he beats Denver today, yeah,
Oh my God.
I'm gonna be salty. I'm just gonna be. I will be salty if he beats Denver. And I'm gonna look at my coaches in the face and just say, what we got going on? What we got going
No,
on?
I'm gonna be salty if Daniel Jones beats Denver and we lose, and our offense continues to look the way it looks. Expect a rant. Expect me to go off. If
Yeah,
that happens, that's all I'm gonna say.
we gonna see.
But we're gonna see. I'm not jumping off the bridge. It's week one. I'm not going out there saying, "Oh, I told y'all, Daniel Jones." Like, I'm not even on that type of time.
Yeah.
My main objective is I want everybody to put the microscope on this coaching staff. That's really what I want to accomplish. But yeah, let's get into this run attack, man. So we kind of touched on this, and I really think, man, we have the talent in this backfield, but most notably, man, Cam Scatterbo, aka Cam Skedaddle. I don't know how we don't utilize this guy more. He has shown me all I really needed to see this last game. I mean, he adds physicality that no one, quite frankly, on this offense brings. So, just how do you feel about this running back room? Me, I just want to see more consistency. If Evan Neal gives us a better push in the running game, I want to see that. Like, I just want to see a better established running game. I'm not the one that's going to say put Scatterbo over Tyrone Tracy. I'm not doing that, but I do want to see more scat. Where's your mindset in this whole thing?
I'm right there with you. If there was anyone that had good plays when the ball was in his hands, maybe not in the running game because the guy's going to block for him, it was Scatterbo. Scatterbo at the goal line when they tried to run it with him and he ran over our own offensive tackle, Marcus Bowe. Marcus Bowe gets turned around and he got lit up by
Yeah,
Scatterbo. But even thinking about that pass to the outside when Scatterbo took it, bounced off of two tacklers and still was able to stay up, he just gives us a different feeling when he has the ball in his hands, man. He really does. So I'm hoping for a little bit more plays from him, but everyone's I hate that the offensive line ruins everything, but it really does. Because a lot of
yeah,
times they got the ball in their hands and they were already blown up in the backfield. Like that's
yeah,
the unfortunate part. So if there's anything I will say, I just hope we have more of an established, running offense, right? Like we're able to get some yardage and not necessarily go away from it. But Tyrone Tracy was able to have explosive plays last year. We need one out of him. We need one. We need one or two out of him this game. I made maybe it was, once again, it was in the heat of the moment. He looked like he was running out there with cinder blocks, man. I didn't see anything from Tyrone Tracy that screamed like super explosive. But once again, the offensive line doesn't give him the chance to. I need to see a
yeah. That's
burst
what
out
I
of him
said.
and need to see at least an explosive play. Russell Wilson, for anyone that didn't know, Russell Wilson, he led the whole offense with rushing. And he was just running away from the D line. So that can't be what the Giants offense wants to do if they want to be successful, man. Russell Wilson cannot be leading this team in rushing. Hopefully we're able to get more of a thing going on with the running back room. And it starts with Tracy though. Let's try to break off a run or two, and hopefully the offensive line opens up some holes for him.
I guess I see things differently. I'm looking at my guy Kenneth Perkins in the chat, man. He says Tyrone Tracy Jr. is average at best, but maybe a better O line, Tracy Jr. could be better. At best, he's average. I don't see that, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do not see that. I do. I also, to your point, I think that the offensive line like really gave him no chance.
Yeah,
I,
no.
I really like. I look. I watched the all 22, and I was curious. Like, man, why we really didn't kind of did away with that. But I don't think Tyrone Tracy Jr. is average at best. I think at best he is solid. I think Tyrone Tracy Jr. definitely has, a lot of untapped potential. So I see y'all. I see my guy Iman Perry says he's not above average. Money Mike is with me. Money Mike says Tracy is a baller. He is bugging. Yeah, man. I don't know. I guess we see it differently, but
Like I alluded to with talking about the screen passes, that's what I want to see out of Tyrone Tracy too. Like
yes.
we know he has that receiver background. We got to
Mm-hmm.
see him as a pass catching threat. We didn't get to see that week one. Once again, week one was just that bad that we might just have to just chalk it up and say, hopefully we see something different. But no, that was our team. Like our team had no offense. So that's why even me saying it, like I said, I saw him running with cinder blocks on his feet because I think he couldn't get anything going, but I'll chalk that up to the O-line. I'll chalk that up to what this team looked like week one. Week two is a fresh week. Get things rolling today. No excuses. We got to get something rolling.
Hey, Mosley, man. Mosley says, I agree with K. Perkins. Wow. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I guess I really haven't really heard this. This is like the first time I'm really hearing that y'all look at Tyrone Tracy Jr. in this light. My man Ghost Dog is in the building. He says Tracy could be a top 10 in the league if we had a better O-line. And that's the thing, man. I think a lot of times you can kind of get blinded by what they look like on, you know, what we have now. But again, a lot of times we find out too late about our players, man. Like, I feel like we find out, oh man, we've actually had a dog in this guy when they leave. And if you can see through that, man, some of these players you were able to see, like Tyrone Tracy Jr., like he's one of them.
Something that people alluded to last year, and once again, I don't want to fringe on it too much. When you look at Tyrone Tracy's splits with Daniel Jones last year and without him, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. And when you have a quarterback that can run the ball too, that makes defenses aware. Maybe it holds up a defensive edge a little bit when you're thinking about running a read option and such. So I think that does, kind of worry me about Tracy is that without Daniel Jones, his snaps, they weren't as impactful in the latter half of the season. You can think about it. I mean, he bursted onto the scene, but that last 6-game stretch after Daniel Jones is off the team, Tracy didn't do much. The biggest play I remember is Tracy against the Panthers, and that was Daniel Jones' last game. So I'm not saying that he's not average or not above average either, but it's just it does worry me that maybe the running quarterback affects him, which it affects every running back. So
Iman Perry says Tracy is all right. He's not close to Saquon. Yo,
I don't
Saquon
want to
Barkley
start.
is the best running back in the league.
I don't want to start talking about Saquon now. We just reminiscing about all these old players now. I'm not trying to do all that
Like,
now.
yo, you just compared him to the best. All right, I see what we doing. We just all right, all right. Sleazy says Tracy would have had 1,000 last season if he started all games, but some of y'all don't want to talk about that. Come on, come on.
Shout out to
Let's
Sleazy
be
in the
real.
building,
He
man.
did
Shout
have
out to Sleazy.
1,000 all purpose, but yeah. Um, let's see. Here we go. Where we at? Where we at?
I'm not talking about Saquon. I'm letting y'all know
See,
right
I
now.
see.
We're not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Oh man. Shout out to my guy Ant, who is a Cowboy fan. I see Cowboy fans is in here. I see y'all. So anyway, listen. Oh man, y'all funny in this chat. Um, so listen, we just hit an hour. I think that we're gonna leave it at this right here. We know how big of a game that this is, man. I know for me personally, I will be doing a post game live stream. I need each and every one of you that is tuned in right now to make sure that you not only liking this stream, but that you subscribe to TP Way the Giant, man. Make sure that you subscribe. It is free. It costs you nothing. All you got to do is handle your biz, hit that subscribe button, man. And Juke, please let the people know also where they can find you, because you definitely have to subscribe to the Juke as well. Do not miss on this dope New York Giant content. So, Juke, talk to him.
100%, man. Make sure, hey, I will not be live post game today. Your boy got, work, so pray for your boy. The Juke on YouTube, the Juke __ on X. I'm gonna let you know right now. I might not be going live, but you'll see a post game reaction one way or another. So definitely tap in over there. Big Blue crossover next week will be on my channel, so definitely stay tuned on that part. And yeah, man, appreciate you, TP, for having me jump on.
Yes, sir, man. This is another one. This is the second Big Blue crossover. Again, we just alternate back and forth. And we're gonna talk ball, man. We're gonna talk ball on this, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for rocking with us. Listen, man. Gear up, y'all. Gear up, okay? It's not impossible. We got Dallas on the bench. Talk to him,
Giants 50, Cowboys 0, man.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is going down. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go, man. Let's go. All we got is hope. Sometimes that's all you can lean on is hope. And that's all we got this week. But we gonna run with it, man. Feed 5, 4 phone. Again, make sure you subscribe here to TV Way the Giant. Make sure you subscribe to the Juke. It has been real. We'll holla at y'all when we holla at y'all.